G'day people, here comes another cheap-assed meta-reaction video where I react to someone reacting to something else. One of these days someone will put up a video of someone reacting to me reacting to someone reacting to someone else. Now, that hasn't happened yet, but surely it's going to happen some point. Now, today I'm reacting to these two current Italian Australians. Vincenzo on the left there from the popular recipe channel on YouTube, Vincenzo's Plate. Very popular channel. He's got hundreds and hundreds of videos up there. So if you want to check out some authentic Italian recipes and discussion and ingredients, go check it out. On the right, Johnny Di Francesco, founder of the 400 Gradi restaurant chain. They've got 8 locations, mostly in and around Melbourne. And he won the world's best margarita pizza back in 2014. So if you want traditional pizza napoletana, he's your man. If you want a margarita, he's your man. Now they are going to be reacting to this guy, John Cornell. His channel is called Preppy Kitchen. So I guess he prepares things, maybe. Anyway, he's obviously into bright colours and cute recipes, especially sweet recipes. We've got chocolate cupcakes, we've got air-fried donuts, poppy seed muffins, butternut squash soup, desserts. You know, a lot of visually stimulating things, bright colours. This guy would be great for children's parties, I think. Anyway, let's roll it and see what these two guys have got to say about him making pizza.
We have Johnny Di Francesco from Gradi Group. He's an award-winning best pizza chef in the world. And today, I'm sorry, Johnny, I love you. He's got the most popular Napolitan pizza video online. He's competing with this guy who has the same amount of view of a pizza dough recipe. Okay, so Johnny, who is a professional pizza chef, is competing on YouTube.
First off, we have to wake our little baby yeast up. They're all tucked away in this packet.
Man, those teeth.
Into little granules, and they need a nice.
This guy's just too well dressed.
With a little bit of food.
Too immaculately coiffed.
That is warm, not cold, not hot.
Beg to differ, you don't really need to. But just depending on how he's making the dough. You know, a lot of these videos, they talk about making a dough now to use in a few hours.
Right.
Which really, if you dig really deep down, it's not good for your health to do that.
No?
No.
Why?
Well, because, and maybe some people can comment on this, you know, if they've eaten a pizza and then a few hours later, they're drinking water all day.
That's a sign.
That's a sign that, and also.
Now, do you actually know this, Johnny, or is this just a theory that someone's put to you? Because there's no evidence that yeast makes you thirsty. You may get thirsty from other things, like if the dough's not properly conditioned or it's not properly cooked. This can affect your digestion quite badly. As for getting thirsty, you might get thirsty if you've got a candida infection, you know, if you've got thrush, you might get thirsty. But yeah, it's a long bow to say that you put a bit too much yeast in your pizza, you're going to be thirsty. I'd like to see some actual evidence before you come up with this theory.
So by putting too much yeast, I want to see how much yeast he puts, but by putting too much yeast, you know, this is the major effect when people say, I can't eat too much bread or dough or whatever.
Yes.
Cold won't wake them up, hot will kill them, so go for about 100 degrees. If you put your finger in,
Okay,
That's even higher. That's
we're talking about Fahrenheit. So
38 Celsius probably.
we are, it's about 38. That's hot. In my books, that is hot.
Now here we go. Now the problem here is Johnny uses a totally different technique to make dough. Completely different technique. So, yep, from his point of view, it's too hot. He's going to keep his dough somewhere cool for probably overnight, and it could be 30 hours before he's actually using it. So it's a totally different way of doing things, completely different. And because that's what he's trained in, that's what he's doing every day. He just doesn't see the other way of doing it. And I come from the other school. I'm not going to leave my dough overnight. I want it ready, in an hour. So, yes, if you're going to do that, you need the dough to be warm. It's got to be blood temperature. It wants to be 36, and as soon as you put it on the board, to work it, it's going to cool down straight away. So you really want your dough to be about at least 40 degrees. So actually, for that technique, Johnny, he's doing the right thing.
That's really hot.
Not starting the right way.
Sorry.
and I also like to use my mixing bowl, but first I warm it up by filling it up with hot water.
Oh man, no. Can we skip this? This is...
You don't want to watch these.
No, this is ridiculous. Heat up the water, heat up the bowl. Where are we? In,
Must be in Canada, maybe. Maybe it's winter in Canada, it's cold, I don't know.
okay.
And now I'm adding in 3/4 of a cup of warm water between 100 and 110 degrees.
And now we're going to 10, 110, 110 degrees, 100, 110, it's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I was saying, if you're going to do the quick technique, you do want 40 degrees because it'll cool down as soon as it hits the board, and it'll cool down. If it gets too cold, it won't fucking rise straight away. It's different if you're doing it overnight.
Yeah, it gets warmer and warmer.
Tablespoon of sugar.
No, sugar, no sugar,
In the dough.
no sugar,
Why?
because yeast has its own natural sugar. If we're
Now, I've got to stop you there. Yeast does not have its own natural sugar, Johnny. Where do you get these ideas? Where did you train? Didn't they tell you anything? Don't you know anything about yeast? Anything about zoology? Yeast is yeast, mate. Doesn't come with sugar. I mean, maybe you can buy a particular type of yeast that does come with sugar, but I can tell you, instant yeast does not come with sugar. Comes with a rehydrating agent, and that's it. Just yeast and a rehydrating agent. So you do need, if you're doing this technique, well, you don't have to use sugar, but it helps. Mind you, a tablespoon for one pizza is too much. Too much. You only need a teaspoon. Even then, you probably don't even need that. But it does help get it going. If you want your pizza in an hour, you want a bit of sugar just to speed it along.
using the yeast the correct way, why do we have to put sugar? Also, sugar will give a false sense of colouring. I haven't seen the final pizza, like as in cooking.
Yes.
I guarantee you this pizza is going to look very, very dark.
Dry yeast. You could also use instant yeast for this as well. Pour that out there.
7 grams he's putting in there. Again, that's 21 grams of fresh. So can you imagine
wow,
getting
okay.
21 grams of fresh yeast in that amount of water right now?
You can make pizzas for 200 people.
No, you can make pizzas
even.
in about 20 seconds.
Wow.
Give it a quick stir. Just stir.
He's using the thermometer to start.
Works for him.
6 degrees, all stirred up. Cover this.
106 degrees.
Well, it's a bit hot, but it's not far too hot. Look, this is because you don't understand the other way of doing it, Johnny. There's 2 ways. Well, there's probably more than 2 ways, but there's at least 2 ways. And your way's completely different to his, right? They're completely different. You can't really compare the two.
I'm dying. I can't do it anymore.
5 minutes, maybe 7. You're looking for little bubbles to form. That lets you know the yeast has woken up and that pizza dough is going to be on its way.
Because when it wakes up, it's going to talk to us.
What is this? He's using grandmother cap for the shower.
Okay, 5 or so minutes later, let's take a peek under the bonnet. Ooh, perfect.
What happened? What did you do? What did you do?
Let's even peek under the bonnet.
Do you know, I just realised that's a pun. That's a double meaning. Like, you're thinking it's a car, but actually it's a bonnet like women used to wear 200-300 years ago.
What did he achieve?
I don't know. Oh, that's good. I love it.
Frothy, bubbly, those yeast are kicking. So here's the deal.
I'll cop one in the ass.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Here I have 2 cups, 240 grams of all-purpose or double.
All right. Okay, look at this. So this is where it becomes serious, okay?
It's okay. I can
All
see
right,
you
no,
change
no,
your
seriously. 240 grams of flour. 240 for 7 grams of yeast.
face. So normally you do 1 kilo, you put 1 gram.
Correct.
So to do 7 grams,
7
you need
kilos.
7 kilos.
So look at what's happened. And this is why these videos, I mean, it's great. People get on and they...
Now listen, Johnny. Do you understand anything about what yeast does? Yeast multiplies. So you start with 1 gram and you put it away for a whole day. A whole day. And in that day, that yeast will multiply. So by the time you come to use it, you've got 7 grams of yeast in that dough. He's starting with 7 grams, you finish with 7 grams. You understand? There's no difference in terms of the yeast quantity when you actually come to make the pizza.
They look at it and they go and they try and make it, etc., etc. And then they, you know, we're affecting people's health. This is a fast way to really upset people's stomach.
And I'm gonna add 3/4 teaspoon of salt. That pizza dough needs some flavor. You could also add in like half a teaspoon of dried rosemary.
No. Can we go to
It doesn't need extra flavour, it does need salt.
He hasn't started kneading it yet.
No, I want...
Don't you want to see how he needs it?
All right, let's see how he needs it.
Sugar. The remaining.
No,
More sugar.
More sugar. Sugar in the yeast. Sugar.
Yeah, it's too much.
He's making a
Yeah.
pizza for
No,
breakfast.
Too much. Don't need that much.
Look, this is unhealthy. This is one unhealthy recipe. Honestly, this is
bad.
this is bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Half a tablespoon. Just give it a whisk.
It won't kill you.
Okay.
Might not be great, but it won't kill
Everything's
you.
all set. I'm taking out the stand mixer, but you could totally do this by hand, a little.
You do it by hand. So
I do it by hand. Why would you bother with a mixer? You just don't need it.
First you thought, oh my gosh, that's way too much flour, but then things incorporate, it all works out.
Protein denaturation.
Literal blessing of water, just because it actually seemed
blessing of water. Is he a priest?
He's got some crazy
The
ideas.
water.
a bit dry. You can add flour if
Anthropomorphosis.
it's wet. You could add a little bit more water if it seems dry after you mix it in.
You don't need
It
to
doesn't make
mix.
sense because this is why I say weigh your products out from the start. You don't need to add, you don't need to subtract because when we talk about hydration, he hasn't told us what is the hydration of this
yeah,
dough.
we don't
Well,
know.
we don't know, so we just
This is a cohesive ball, which is what you want. See right here. It's a little sticky, it's not too bad. I'm gonna be adding a lot of flour onto my well-floured surface when I need this, so this is just about right. Take this away, clean surface.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
no.
You don't understand?
He's saying that the dough is too sticky, so he's going to have to put a lot of flour. The problem with that is now we're incorporating undeveloped flour, which is
You don't do that.
A little flour, sprinkle.
The flour is going to be undeveloped unless you let it prove for a long time like you do. You let it prove for a day, but if you only prove for an hour, it's going to be undeveloped in the sense that the yeast will eat some of the starch in the wheat, right? They'll eat some of it, and that changes the characteristic of the flour, though. You know, unless you're going to leave it for a day, you can't avoid that.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. Now, that ball of precious, delicious dough out, and we're just going to work it a little bit to help activate.
And this guy obviously hasn't done much kneading, because that's not how you knead.
Johnny, before I met you, I used to punch my dough. It was a way of releasing the shred.
You don't punch dough, use the heel of your hand. And that's not the way to do it.
But what do you say to people that still punch the dough?
Keep punching.
Delicious protein in there.
Palmer. What was his name?
You can see this is actually pretty close already. You want to be able
Palmer's
to form it into a
punchlines.
ball. Done. And then I can press down and it bounces back. So it's bouncing back.
Yeah,
it's
it
nice
looks
and neat.
That's a
pretty
really
firm.
hard dough.
I agree with you,
How
Johnny.
hard can that be?
Oh,
bit
that
hard.
would be probably 50%.
Not good for a pizza. Now, what would you do the minimum for a pizza? Doesn't matter what pizza it is, what style.
55, 56 minimum. That's
Please
minimum.
below
minimum. Yeah. Doesn't sound like much, 5%, but it's a lot.
Spent a lot of time in that mixer. that it so it
Those
didn't need
teeth,
it. But
my God.
if you're doing this by hand, you definitely
The
want to
hairstyle,
knead the dough.
I think there's
for
some
maybe
product
4 or 5
in that
minutes
hair.
until-
Sorry, Johnny, but it makes me believe
5
this.
minutes.
He's making me believe this with his face, with his smile.
No.
He's selling it to me.
No, it takes
He's
long.
changing the way I make pizza. I'm gonna follow him from now on. I won't follow you anymore, Johnny. He convinced me.
I'll send
that smile.
I'll send a pallet of water to your house.
until it looks like this, like a nice, clean, bouncy little ball. Now that our dough is kneaded, we can put it aside, get a big bowl out, and add in a few tablespoons.
Another one with this oil.
Your favorite.
Hey, all
So
right.
now, do you need the oil now?
You don't need the oil now.
You don't need the oil. You did right. You did right there,
What do
John.
you put in the oil for?
Doesn't do anything.
No,
Doesn't make it smoother.
no.
Gonna cover our dough up and leave it in a warm
That's the
smoky
bottom.
place.
See?
I'm actually gonna
Bottom.
put mine in the proofing drawer, but if you don't have a proofing drawer,
No. So
What's a proofing drawer? Yeah.
proofing
Oh.
drawer is
Oh.
a heated drawer. So we're talking 38-degree water. Probably finish the dough at 35.
Yeah,
Now in
35
the
is what you
proofing
want.
drawer. 7 grams of yeast for 200 grams of flour.
And be ready in 40 minutes.
I'm lost for words.
No, it's 40 minutes, Johnny. It's
I might
good.
have fiddled with it off camera and like poked it a bit. I couldn't help myself. But that's what it looks like now.
He is a bit
It doubled in
weird.
size.
You're right about the sugar. Look how dark it is.
Yes.
It doesn't look right. That might be the oil.
Very, very dark.
Guys, looks good to me. What we're gonna do now is punch it down.
Again,
See, do you see how it's? If you can see that when he punched it, how it started to crack.
Yes. What does it mean?
That's because there's so much yeast that the gluten structure has now collapsed.
Let's liberally sprinkle.
I don't know that that's right,
I'm gonna
Johnny.
take out the pizza dough right now.
Do you see how there's no structure in that?
He just knocked all the
Do you
air
see how
out.
it's all?
So bad.
Do you see what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Look
there.
at that. Look how that's gone. The gluten, the it's over fermented. Can you also
And-
see
and that
how
was
it?
a terrible experience.
See how it looks crusty?
It's dry.
It's all dry. That's because the hydration of it was probably even less. I can't remember how much water he started with, but it's really
Didn't
easy
say.
to. It didn't say. Okay, so it's easy to work it out. It's water versus flour give you hydration.
If you're in Melbourne or in Dallas, Grady, Johnny, he can share his pizza with you.
400 gradi.
Experience the
400 degrees.
pizza flavors, and then you learn more about pizza, and maybe you get motivated to learn how to make the proper way.
Yep.
Because if you eat this pizza, I can assure you,
Yeah.
you're not going to drink too much water.
You want the
You're
traditional,
gonna drink
go
a lot of
there.
beer, yes, because it goes well together.
Yeah.
You don't need too much water.
Just gonna flour the top as well.
Yeah,
That's another no.
he's lost it.
He did
By
use
this-
I didn't watch his video, but I had the feeling he was going to use it. I mean, what else is he going to do?
Yeah.
He can't stretch
No,
it
because
by hand.
it will fall apart. It will actually collapse if you tried. You could see it where it's all crusted
Yeah,
up.
no, yeah, too much sugar, I think.
He's trying
Too
to
much
fix it
sugar.
all up. Yeah.
Fix it.
Okay. That's nice.
fermented too quickly.
Roll with a thicker crust. Once your dough is rolled out, it's time to transfer it to the surface you're going to work on. I used to have a pizza stone. I don't know where it went, but if you have one, go ahead and use that.
Wow, look at that. Look at the dryness all around. It's all yellow, dry. Yep.
The surface with just a little bit.
It doesn't look right, Johnny. I totally agree. It looks
We're not making
garbage.
cakes. Guys, we're not making cakes.
That's his thing, though. He likes to make cakes.
Well, no problem.
And
Don't call it
donuts.
pizza.
No,
Don't
no.
call it pizza.
Look with a brush.
Oh, it's still a pizza. It's just a
To
shit
make
one,
the white
right? It's
pizza,
still
you
pizza.
infuse the olive oil with
He's put it all over the pizza.
All over.
He's got no idea.
some garlic and season that, and it would be good to go.
He's just got
We're
no
gonna do a
idea.
red pizza. It's like the boys' first homemade pizza, so it has to be a classic cheese pizza for them. I'm also gonna dock the pie just.
It's going to be some kind of classic. Don't know that that's a good way.
Why didn't you use a short crust?
That's the shortbread you
pizza
do
sauce.
that.
This is kind of up to you, but I think it should be, a thin coating. You're not having it pool up. Liberally sprinkle that cheese on top.
Is that
It does
fake
rem-
cheese? Is that fake
There we
cheese to
go.
you? What does it look
There
like?
we go.
That's,
Yep.
that's shredded mozzarella. Yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna go into the oven at 425 until the cheese is melted and it's nice and golden. About 12 minutes or so. It totally depends on your.
It's gonna dry up.
12 minutes.
The cheese will burn. But there's no other options, right?
Nope.
That dough deserves 12 or 15 minutes, he said.
This is for the boys, but let's get real. Most of it's for us. Sorry, kids. Including
Not really
bite.
burnt. I
If you
wouldn't
like
say.
this recipe, check out my quick and easy savory.
I want to see if he bites it.
Delicious
I wanna
savory
see.
meals to delight your palate. But now it's time for a bite.
Okay. Good luck.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
believe
you
it?
can see it. Hasn't risen.
Look at the video, it's recommended.
Hasn't risen. It's a failure.
With chicken on the side.
How can you
Beautiful.
trust like someone like that?
No.
He's killing me right now with the pie. He's killing you with the pizza. And the next video, which I'm going to react to this, he made, what is that? Pasta with what? Kale?
Probably
and chicken.
spinach and chicken.
Spinach and chicken and
I don't know. That's
I need to
crazy.
react to this. I've never seen this guy before, but now I'm gonna have nightmares. I'm sorry.
This guy is just fuel for you guys. I mean, he can just keep going and going for all his videos.
I can see
It's
you're
not a
suffering
pizza.
right
It's
now.
not a pizza.
You're really suffering.
It's
right now.
it's some dough that I've never heard of being made ever in my life, with some topping,
So maybe he came up with the recipe.
maybe.
Maybe he's offended now because it's his own recipe.
Oh no, don't get offended.
Where did you learn it from? Did you go to Naples to learn?
No.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really thank you that you have to suffer with us. I appreciate you suffering with us. I appreciate you, Johnny, watching this. I'm so sorry to put you through this, but this is the reality. You don't work much in the online world, You're in the
No,
restaurant,
yeah.
seeing your clients face to face, but this is what's happening online.
I can't believe it.
That's
Now, yeah, he fucked that pizza up. No question. No question. It's a mess. But I make pizza along that path, which you don't. So you don't know. And it's the same with Vincenzo. He's brought up into the traditional Italian way of cooking, and so both these guys, you both think there's only one way to do these things, and that's the traditional Italian way. Well, I'm telling you, it's not the only way. Yes, the traditional Italian way is a classic, but it's not the only way. Now, if you want to make an Australian pizza, you can't do it the Napolitan way. It doesn't work. You come into a pizzeria in Napoli and ask for a pizza with the lot, what are they going to bloody do? They'll throw you out on the street because you can't do it. You can't put the lot on a traditional Italian pizza. That's why anywhere in Italy, you'll knock at the lot. You won't get it. You've got to come to Australia to get the lot. And it's a totally different process. You need a thicker crust. And I know that all the traditionalists snob value They all say, oh, no, it's got to be thin. No, it doesn't have to be thin. That's a closed mind way of working. And you guys, you're very good at the tradition, but you can't free your minds. You're in chains, you know, in chains, catene, you know, you're held down by the tradition. It's a great tradition, but if you're a real chef, if you want to call yourself a real chef, you've got to be able to create something new, something different, you know? Build on the tradition. Or forget the tradition and go some completely different direction, discover a whole new field of cooking. Like, you know, Johnny, discover a whole new world of pizza. But you're never going to do it when all you do is cook margaritas. And Vincenzo, you're never going to do it. All you do is cook bloody spaghetti alla morne and coffee and Nana's meatballs. I mean, I'm sure they're great, but do something original. I mean, I create original stuff all the time. Sure, I'm a nobody, but I've got a whole book full of original recipes, you know. And now some of them are up on my channel, and you can check them out, you know. I've made a contribution. Haven't made money, but I've made a contribution to the culinary world. Anyone can look at these and make my recipes. So, here's a challenge for you two traditionalists. Make something new and good with chocolate. So, Johnny, make a chocolate pizza. Something that's good, not some throwaway garbage, but make a good chocolate pizza. There's a challenge. Vincenzo, make a good chocolate pasta. Right? Challenge. Now, if you want to call yourself a chef, I want to see a decent result in the next month. You know? Have a bloody go. This is Australia. We don't have to stick to tradition in this country. Have a bloody go. Do something new. Show some creativity. Alright? So I look forward to see whether you do anything. If you haven't got the creative spark or the balls to try it in a month, I'll fucking come along and do it myself just to prove to you guys what a true chef really is. Okay, over and out.